Greetings, Exalted One. Allow me to introduce myself. I'm Duke Flyswater, Jedi Knight and friend. What? What's so funny?
Hi everyone! Welcome back to My Lady Disdain. I'm Sandy.
And I'm John.
And today we have another video for smart doll owners. One of the things that we really love to do is name dolls. And we don't get to do it as often as we would like, that's for sure.
Well, yeah, otherwise our bank account would be empty.
But we know it's not always easy to do. And we know you often go to social media or talk to your friends or, find some other sources to get names for your dolls. And so we thought that we would help you out with that, right?
Yeah, so we're gonna start with a doll. One doll, in fact, a singular
sensation
doll. That
I
was
see
horrible.
what you did there.
I did, yeah. Wasn't even planned. We're going to suggest some names for Semi-Real Singularity.
Oh, and don't forget about our bonus category.
That's right. At the end, we're gonna have another extra category just for Star Wars Day.
What's your favorite name for Singularity, and what dolls should we do next? Leave it in the comments.
And if you'd like to see more Smart Doll content like this, make sure you click subscribe and the bell for notifications.
Okay.
Let's get into it.
John, why did we choose Semi-Real Singularity?
So this doll was suggested to us by Linda on Facebook, whose Instagram is Logan's Cottage. And I think she's had it early from Only the Brave.
She's had it at least, I don't know if she just has the head or if she's had it for the whole doll for a little while.
So there are very few of you out here who actually can buy Semi-Real Singularity just yet. But who knows, by the time this drops, maybe it'll be available. She has yet to come up with a name for her Semi-Real Singularity.
We asked her how she describes her singularity because, you want to know that when you're naming your dolls. So what she said was that she is fierce, strong, confident, and a tiny bit ruthless, which you actually can really see that in the doll's face.
There is something, mysterious and dangerous about Singularity.
Yeah, she's got those eyebrows that look like she's, I don't know. I'm not sure if she's just skeptical or if she's, just ferocious or what, but I see that little glint of I can be dangerous.
So we're going to break down the different names that we thought of into categories based off of sort of what connection we found to the doll. Let's take a look at our first category.
Astrophysics.
I mean, this is kind of obvious, but they're blue. It's spacey, they're sort of alien-like. We had a bunch of options. There's plenty of options you can look at and resources out there looking up just terminology, right? Like my first doll, Luma, is based on that similar idea, just finding terminology that sounds sort of like a name and but means something very specific.
So our first name is Spectra. Spectra is the plural of spectrum.
I like Spectra. It sounds a little secret agent, evil organizations from like Get Smart or something like that.
Yeah, it could be, or it could be like a He-Man villain.
Right. Yeah, I think this actually works quite well because I like the ending in the name and I like the C, the hard C sound in there.
It's a good short name. It doesn't really, to me, I don't see any nicknames in it, which sometimes is important to some people. Like, is there a shortening you can do of it to be a term of endearment? I don't really see one in this, but maybe you don't want her to be particularly endearing.
I think the nicknames are really nice for longer names, which we'll have plenty of opportunity throughout the rest of this, but so that you can have the nice longer name that has a meaning, but also find a cute, diminutive name.
What's the next one?
UV. So this was a little bit of a stretch and sort of something we made up. This is taking, the acronym for ultraviolet, as in ultraviolet light, and basically making the name an onomatopoeia of the sound of the letters.
I guess, yeah. So basically, like using the sound of the two letters as a name. UV, UV. It's kind of cute. I mean, and her name could actually be Violet, Ultraviolet, but she gets called UV. Or UV could be her whole name. Next we have Evren. This is Turkish for universe or cosmos, and it's also a snake or dragon.
Yeah, this is the name of a mythological snake-type dragon in Turkish mythology. I love the sound of this name. It's unisex. It has some of that feminine and masculine sounds going on there at the same time.
Yeah, I think it's actually very elegant. I think it's got a very sort of posh quality to it as well, which is very cool.
Yeah.
So are we on a new category?
Yep. Our next category starts with sin.
And of course, everything good probably starts with sin, right?
I guess that depends on your point of view. But yeah, this is kind of something I think we had to throw in. I don't personally do this too much.
What, sin?
Yes. Basically, a lot of people like to hold on to the original name of the doll, but call them something a little more personalized. So they'll take the beginning part of the name and do a variation on that.
Magical Girl Kit Kat Gaming, Kat and Ben have Val instead of Valiant, and Jen instead of Genesis.
Yep.
It's a perfectly valid way to name your character.
Yep. So we had to put some of these in here. So these are some names that start with S-I-N. First up is Cinder. This is kind of a dark, pun intended, I guess, smoldering sort of name. You've got English and German roots here, meaning ashes or scale that's thrown from a forge.
I like it because, like, when you're talking about things being thrown from the forge, you're talking about like that hot rock and stuff being thrown from the forge, and it kind of gives you the implication of somebody you might want to dance around a little bit and not get too close to.
Yeah, sure.
So I kind of like that as a name. That's a cool idea. What's next? Sinforosa. Latin for full of misfortunes. That's kind of a deep meaning.
Yeah, very ominous, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it really works. I mean, and it doesn't mean that she has to be mean either. So, I mean, if you think that she just maybe has sort of a sad existence, maybe she's lonely because she's blue.
And I'm going to steal your thoughts here and say I would guess that a nice, easy nickname here would be Rosa.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's a great name. I like that.
Yeah. The rest of it pretty much doesn't work. Symph.
Synth. For Sinfo.
Sinfo. Zenobia. Zenobia is Greek for stranger and force of Zeus.
Oh, stranger works really well because then you've got that whole alien stranger kind of, doesn't belong here kind of vibe. That's very cool. What's next?
All right, moving out of names that begin with sin, we have a dark meaning.
It's very dark.
It's very dark. Insert lightning crack.
I love this name. Devlin. It's Celtic for little dark one.
I love when you find meanings like this. Quite honestly, when I look for names, I look meaning first. I look for particular words or concepts, and then you find things like little dark one, and it itself tells a little story. This is a great unisex name. I like it.
Yeah, and it can be Dev, Devi, Lynn. So there's a lot of cute little shortenings for it too. I like that one. Devlin is an awesome name. I almost want to steal it to use for a not blue girl.
All right. This is kind of obvious, but still really good. Nox. And I'll include here Nyx, because they're pretty much different different cultural versions of the same thing. So you have Latin and Greek, meaning dark, gloomy night, dusk.
And these are they're personified, at least in Greek mythology.
Yeah.
Nox and Nyx as actually the goddess of night, and I'm not sure exactly which one it is, but they're actually personified in Greek mythology.
Don't worry, our researcher will totally cover this in post.
What's next? Amaya or Amaya?
I'm gonna say Amaya.
So that's Japanese or Basque, and it means night rain. Looking at her hair looks like night rain.
Yeah, you have a very pretty normal name, I think, to some extent. This is a lovely regular name that also has some dark meaning behind it. So,
and this one might actually be a good option for Linda, who inspired this video, because I believe her other blue girls that she has have names that start with A. So this one could fit.
Right.
And she could also be Maya or May, which is kind of cute.
Sure.
And I think, are we moving on to a new category?
Yes. Surprise, surprise.
Colors.
So, they're blue. You can't get around the fact that they are blue. You're never going to really probably do this with any other doll, unless a green one comes out or something. So you might as well lean into the color of their skin, indigo. So this is, the Greek name for the Indian dye, and essentially a color now that's pretty accepted. I really like this, except indigo, I think leans, if you're going to be technical, leans a little on the green side of the spectrum.
Right. But it does have a couple of cute shortenings. I mean, she could be Indy, or I actually kind of like Ego.
Ego. I pictured.
Or Igo.
I pictured somebody with a hump. That's Igor, whatever. All right, how about
Nila. Hindi or Sanskrit for sapphire blue. That's really pretty. I mean, it actually sounds like a legit name, which is kind of cute. And you don't even really need a shortening of it.
It is. What this lacks for me is the edge. It is beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, maybe you could use this for anime's Singularity in Interstellar Blue.
Yeah.
Or even one of the zombie girls.
Yeah, that I think just naming blue in general, you're going to get softer names, somewhat more typical names.
And of course, you can't forget Interstellar Blue Moment either, who is on her way.
Yes. Last in this category is Aster. Now, I love this for two reasons. Aster is a blue flower, so we've got the color there, but we're double dipping here because it is Latin for star. So you have the intergalactic element as well playing in with the color. So since their skin tone, although I don't think he says it in the website, but originally he always called intergalactic blue, this is a fantastic name. And if Linda is actually going for A names,
Aster fits perfectly. I also like it because it has an old-fashioned kind of quality, which
Yeah.
I really like. I like that for, a poetic-sounding old-fashioned name, like someone in a Jane Austen novel could be named Aster. So that's kind of neat.
yeah, you have the flower giving you that element of being old-fashioned, but I think also you could easily slip if you were, if you wanted to. I wouldn't with this doll, but you could easily slip from Aster to Esther.
Right.
And see those as sort of, not companion names, but names that are kind of linked. That was a lot of separate syllables there.
Where are we going next?
Well, next, we're going to take the color blue and add some edge to it with Stormy Meaning.
This is exciting. Varsha.
I bet you didn't think this was going to be the first one.
No, I didn't, actually.
It's not a name that immediately says Stormy, but that's because it's not an English name.
Oh, it's Hindi, actually, or Sanskrit, and it means rain.
So maybe not the edge that I necessarily was talking about, but it's a start.
I mean, rain can be all different kinds of things, which actually does apply to this doll.
But it's a nice, lovely, sort of soft-sounding name.
So what's next?
Bronte, or Bronte, whichever you prefer.
It's Greek for the sound of thunder.
Here we go. Some epicness, right?
Yeah. I like it. I mean, the sound, thunder implies you've got that nice, cool breeze coming in, and gray and blue and all those dark colors that kind of inspire something moody.
Mm-hmm.
And then the sound of thunder can be kind of scary and ominous. So it all works.
Yep.
Next. So a similar idea, tempest. It's from the French for storm.
And for Shakespeare fans, it is, of course, the name of a very famous play. Can you see, Sandy, as a Shakespeare lover yourself, what sort of parallels do you see between the play The Tempest and Singularity?
Well, I mean, you have the main character of Prospero, or sometimes Prospera.
Yep.
Which is actually another good name. Prospera, gotta make note of that one. Has been cast out of his or her home, and has become a ruler of an island, and is in an endless search for power.
Prospero is like a big, powerful wizard, basically, right?
Yes.
So there's a lot of, causing shipwrecks and causing all these things to happen, and
mad jealousy and protectiveness of his daughter, Miranda.
Yep.
So there's, and the creation of, or the abuse and creation of Caliban. So there's a lot going on there that has sort of a dark, twisted bent that is due to misfortune.
Yeah.
Really. Corruption by power. So yeah, it really, really works. Tempest or Prospera.
Next, we have dangerous names. These names are not normal names. These are words that are dangerous, or for dangerous things, right? So our first one is Jinx. I love this because it sounds really playful, but it's actually also pretty bad. So you've got basically a jinx is to jinx is to cast an evil spell on something or someone.
And I believe we found that it came from a word for a small bird that was supposedly used in spell casting.
Yeah, there was the jinx. It was like the Latin name for that bird, where this derived from, and that bird is used in witchcraft.
Supposedly, So that's where we get the idea of casting a jinx on someone, and it's also just a cool sounding name.
I like the X's and the hard consonants for this doll.
Yeah. It's got a real mischievous quality to it.
Yep.
And another small name with cool sounds, Brink. It's English, something unwelcome is about to happen. In other words, we're on the brink.
Yep, we're on the edge, the precipice of probably something bad. It technically could be good, but more often than not, brink is used in a negative light.
Next, toxin. This was one of my favorite choices. English or Latin, it's an organic poison.
I mean, this is superhero villain, Poison Ivy, something like that. It is, it's a very sort of on the nose, like you would expect it to be a code name for her kind of thing. But it's just fun. Yeah.
Toxin is just great. And I mean, it doesn't even really need to be shortened, but you could, I don't know, how could you shorten that? Zin. You can give that a Z sound and call her Zin.
Yeah.
Or even Sin.
Toxie.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it wouldn't be shortening it, but you add in, different syllables to make it a little bit more cute. So, a lot of options there.
Yeah, I like Toxin a lot. So we have a new category?
I believe so. Legendary. This is our last category, technically, although we've got a bonus one for you.
Yeah, so legendary names. Let's see what we have here.
All right. This is one of my favorites, Morgan or Morgana. I love this name for the character that it evokes. It is a fairly normal name out of all the names that we've been looking at today.
Sure, I mean, everybody knows somebody. I think everybody, at least in the Americas, knows somebody named Morgan.
But the reason this category is legendary because it is about legendary characters. So here, the meaning of the name of Morgan is sea warrior, or Morgana in French is circling sea. So you've got a lot of, that sort of stormy elements that we were looking at before, but you also have a direct connection to Morgan Le Fay, and who is a huge character in Arthurian legend, and she is displayed both as this great woman and vilified in others, because there's so many different stories. Sometimes she is actually portrayed as the Lady of the Lake, who gives Excalibur, or who escorts Arthur to Avalon. And other times she is his sister, or his bastard sister, who is a witch and who kills him, or all this stuff. So you have this a lot of baggage to this name that provides that sort of edge, I think, that we have been talking about.
I like that one. What's next? Lilith. That means of the night, or night monster. It's Hebrew. I believe she was the first wife of Adam.
In Hebrew tradition, she is the first wife of Adam, and they were kicked out of Eden. She is then essentially vilified throughout most of that, including other legends in Mesopotamia, where Lilith means night demon and things like that. So this name has historical, a very large, negative, bad vibe.
Yeah, I mean, and it's been used in a lot of different, more modern stories, like Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, for example. Lilith was represented. There's quite a few things, and you can make this one cute if you want to hide her identity and just call her Lily or Lily, whichever you prefer.
Right.
So I think both of those are really good.
Yep.
Who's next? Persephone.
Or Persephone.
The Greek bringer of destruction.
And the goddess of spring.
Yeah.
What?
She became the wife of Hades, if I remember correctly.
I probably not through, by her own will, but
yeah, so that therefore she's the bringer of destruction. But she was also the goddess of spring. So you've got two things represented there, which is kind of cool, representing a duality of this really pretty, cute character doll who also happens to be a little bit evil. So that's another thing. So Persephone, and that can be Percy, Seth.
Yeah, like Seth. Yeah.
Kind of like Steph.
Yeah.
Seth. So yeah, that's what I see. Or Perry, even if you don't want to use the S, she can be Perry.
That's not bad at all.
Yeah. So where are we going now?
So now, as promised at the beginning of the video, we are going to give you one bonus category for today, being May 4th, or May the 4th be with you. Oh, wow. May the Force be with you. No, damn it. May the 4th be with you.
And also with you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Wow, that was hard. So we're going to look at some Star Wars names. Now, I specifically added this because they're blue-skinned. Every time I saw one of the blue-skinned girls, I immediately thought of Star Wars, and I immediately thought of Grand Admiral Thrawn, who used to be just in the books.
You got some geek showing there.
No, thank you.
For you.
Yes. I read Star Wars books when I was in high school. but they have added Grand Admiral Thrawn into the all the animated the CGI series like Clone Wars, I think, Star Wars Rebels, and if you follow The Mandalorian, we believe getting ready to meet Grand Admiral Thrawn for the first time in live action. So, the Chiss is the race that Thrawn is from, the Chiss Ascendancy, and they have some interesting names. Thrawn is not Thrawn's name. Thrawn is essentially, well, the common name, which is the main tongue. It's kind of like an anglicized name, basically. And they have a very long name that involves multiple family names and their given name and this whole thing. So we've taken a couple of the names that we've suggested already today and seen how maybe they might be transformed into a Chiss name. So you can get a little bit of the meaning and also make your own Star Wars character. So let's start up. I know I'm probably doing all of these.
I think I'm gonna let you field this one. Yeah.
Just for pronunciation's
But I
sake.
might be able to say who the name was beforehand.
It's on the screen.
Oh, okay.
Sorry. I could take it off if you want.
No, that's all right.
So, we're going to start with UV. It was actually kind of tough to find because if you want to turn one of these names into a Chiss name, you have to divide the letters of the name amongst three names, like in the middle.
Okay.
So you have the family name and then an apostrophe and then your given name and an apostrophe and then an occupation or another family name. So we have Surtuvi Etinla. This is, you can see, broken down, like I said. A lot of these were me just sort of finding combinations of letters. You can look up Chiss names online. Next up is Neela. So to take Neela and turn it into a Chiss name, I divided it up. I took the N and put it to the family name, the Eel, E-E-L, as the given name, and then the A to the end. And we end up with Varkin Il Asan.
That's kind of cool. I like that.
Yeah, it's better than the first one. And this last one actually contains a real Chiss family name as the first part. And was the only one that I found that actually worked for the name I was using. Lilith. So here, normal name, Lilith. And her Chiss name would be Bodil Ilithar.
That's interesting. And it's very cool that you can still see Lilith very clearly in the middle, which is really neat.
Yep.
And you could find, maybe you want to shorten it up differently than Lilith. You could call it something else, too. I like Lilith.
So that's it for Star Wars names, and that is also the end of our recommendations.
This was really fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and, you got a chance to geek out a little bit.
Because I need
You need
permission,
incentive to
or
geek out.
I need to get on YouTube in order to get to geek out.
So yeah, that's it for us. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up, and please let us know if there are any other dolls you'd like us to name.
Yeah, and if you've got a blue doll already, or when you do, let us know what you name them. I'd love to hear if you actually used one of our suggestions.
Or maybe adapted one of our suggestions into something that you do like.
Absolutely.
Definitely a thing to consider.
If you want to follow more of what we do, you can check out my Smart Doll photography on Instagram at Smart Doll Folio.
And you can follow me and all of my various goings-on at My Lady Disdain with underscores. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.